Wicked for Good is directed by John M. Chu, written by Winnie, Holzmann, and Dana Fox, and stars Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey, Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh, Ethan Slater, and Marissa Bode. And it follows the events of Wicked Part 1. As Glenda and Elphaba have been thrust apart, they struggle to find not only their own place in Oz, but their way back to each other. This was a movie I was highly anticipating. The first one last year was one of the biggest surprises of the year for me. I came out of that movie loving the songs, loving the lead performances, and just buzzing, because that movie is so fun, it has so much juice, and I really had a great time with it. So I was looking forward to this one, but over the last year I've constantly heard the second act is weaker, the songs are not as good, all this, but I thought, I love the first one, how much worse can the second one be? And it turns out quite a bit, because I came out of this movie feeling very disappointed and feeling like it was noticeably worse than the first one. But just to start with things I really liked in this movie, once again the crafts are immensely impressive. The production design, costume design, and makeup are all amazing, and it is once again very frustrating that the cinematography, lighting, and color correction is so bad in this movie and so ugly. It really does a disservice to all those crafts, and these movies really should have been some of the best looking in each of their years, and they look like Marvel movies, and that is really just a shame. The other thing I loved in this movie, though, was Jonathan Bailey, someone who really did not pop to me much in the first one, but in this one, he really grabbed me with his performance and his character, and whenever he wasn't in the movie, I kept waiting for him to come back. And I think that is one of the big problems with this movie, is how much the three principal characters are isolated from each other. There are long stretches of the movie where Glinda is alone and sad, and Elphaba is alone and sad, and that is just not entertaining or fun to watch, and it ultimately hurts the movie. Not only the songs, but the narrative itself, because when you get to the end of the movie, it's this song For Good, which is this big emotional release song about the friendship between Glinda and Elphaba. And it did not hit in that way at all for me, because I found that the movie decided to focus less on the friendship between Glinda and Elphaba and more on the love triangle between them and Fiyero, them essentially fighting over a boy. And that really hurts this closing moment, because it's supposed to be this big emotional release, and I almost forgot that these two characters were best friends, because they spend so little time together in this movie, and that hurts their dynamic on screen, their chemistry, but also the songs. The songs in the first one are so fun and so great, and a lot of the standout songs are shared between Glinda and Elphaba. It's the two of them together having a blast. But this movie is so much sadder and darker and more internal and lonely, and so you're getting all these really sad, extended songs that had no juice to them. And it made me think of the first one, where anytime a new song started, I was like, let's go. What heat are they coming with now? But in this one, anytime a new song started, I was kind of like, alright. I could tell instantly, was not going to grab me. And that was really disappointing, because the songs being so good in the first one really carried that movie and really gave it that extra punch to be great. And they don't even come close to doing that in this movie. And so it really kind of damages the narrative and the movie as a whole. And speaking of things that damage the movie and the narrative as a whole, we need to talk about those Wizard of Oz connections, because they really did not work for me. I could feel the filmmakers and the writers and whoever contorting the movie and angling it in a strange way so that they could fit in this Wizard of Oz reference, and it just felt like it brought the movie to a screeching halt every time. In the first movie, the references are a bit more, non-specific, and they're kind of just fun little nods, but in this movie, they need to deliver on these connections narratively, and they need to do that with some characters in the supporting cast that have not been developed well up until now. And so when you have these big reveal moments, these big moments where you're like, this is the Wizard of Oz, remember guys? they did nothing for me. They didn't hit for me. And a big part of that is the weakness of this supporting cast. Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh, I have no idea what they're doing. You know, in the first movie, Goldblum could kind of get away with barely trying because it was just like, oh, he's the wizard and here he is. But in this movie, the wizard becomes a dramatically relevant character. He has dramatic stakes. There are reveals built around him. There are things he has to do. And Goldblum is an actor who absolutely has those abilities, but is just choosing not to tap into them for this movie, and that hurts that character. And Michelle Yeoh, I mean, she's great in everything, but she is bad in these movies. She's not good. Very, stilted, awkward performance, and she does not have a good singing voice. There's a scene in this movie where she has a duet with Ariana Grande, and I was just like, no, why would you do this to her? This isn't gonna look good for her. And that's really the thing with this movie, is it's just awkward and miscalculated, and I understand that this is the original narrative. It's the story gets darker and these things happen, but it just really, really hurt the movie, because it results in the movie being almost no fun and having no juice and having no camp. There's one scene, the fight scene between Glenda and Alphaba, that really feels like it's got some juice, it's campy, it's fun, and that's 4 minutes of this 130-minute movie, and so that really hurts things. And so yeah, ultimately, I come away from this movie finding it to just be a big disappointment. Grande and Erivo are still very solid and do their jobs well, but their connection is barely touched on in this movie. That chemistry is never used, and so it really hurts both their performances, particularly with Ariana Grande and the lack of comedic beats that she showed that she could really do well with in the first one. Beyond that, the characters are so isolated from each other that it ruins the emotional stakes. The songs have so much less juice, the movie is so much less fun, and all of the references and connections to Wizard of Oz feel really awkward and really forced and just hurt the movie. I know it sounds like I hated this movie. I didn't. I was just very disappointed in it. Like I said, Jonathan Bailey I really, really liked, and the craft and design of the world is still impressive and really nice to look at, even if the cinematography and the lighting lets it down. But yeah, overall, those are my feelings on Wicked for Good. I would say, if you liked the first movie, I would still recommend this. I would still say give it a shot, because a lot of people are liking it more than I did. But if you did not like the first movie, don't bother with this one, because I think it's a lot worse than what the first one had to offer. And if you didn't like that, then you're not going to like this. So yeah, I guess I would kind of recommend Wicked for Good, but ultimately I was very disappointed in this movie, so it's hard for me to do that. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye!